Good day to one and all. I'm Dr. Shashikala. I would be talking on the topic of contract labor. Let's come to the introduction part. We see contract labor as a growing and significant form of employment which is seen in all sector industries, agriculture, allied occupation, service sector. So we see that it is an intermediary and it is based on the three-way relation, that is like the principal employer, the contractor and the worker. So basically we see that the three-way relationship between employer, contractor and the worker, who on the whole work together in large number. They have less or no bargaining power, they have little or no security, but they are involved in hazardous occupation. It endangers their lives and safety, and upon that they do not have any minimum wage without any security of employment. So who are these contract laborers? We see that these people are who work very hard but they are ignored for a long time. Neither the contractor nor the employer care for these people. In the name of being paid, these people usually carry on the work. Some are very poor, and the needy people who are hired by the contractor or the factory employers for constructing of sites, road. They are used in chemical, dye industries. They come for cheap, and sometimes they are free from the hassle of labor law. They use them, abuse them, exploit them, and then they work completely. They are used in such a way until the work is completed. They are used and abused. These people render jobless and uncared for. And during this work process, if the worker is killed or he loses his limb or there is some disability which happens to him, they are not under any legislation or laws. So we see that contract labor should not be employed where they work in a very meager work, which goes on from day to day. They work in incidental and they are necessary to work at the factories. The work is sufficient to employ a considerable number of whole time of workmen. Their work is done, and in most time they are not considered as a regular workman. So we'll go to the Contract Labor Regulation and Abolition Act of 1970, which talks about the main objectives of the contract labor and their regulation under the Act of 1970. It regulates the employment of contract labor in certain establishment and to provide them for the abolition in certain circumstances. So we see that though there are some regulation and abolition act which are done in the 1970, but what are the guarantees of these act? The act aimed to guarantee proper hygiene, welfare, food, shelter, protect them against exploitation, and principal employers neglect to provide them with what is rightfully theirs. Though the act has laid down certain amenities to provide them, still we call as restrooms and arranging sufficient drinking water, latrines, washing facilities, first aid. In case of a failure on the part of the contractor to provide these facilities, the employer is liable to provide the same. Apart from the regulatory measures provided under the Act for the benefit of the contract labor, the government can prohibit the employment of contract labor in any establishment where the work is seasonal nature or it is not perennial. Let's talk on the Contract Labor Act. What does it guarantees? We have already seen they have to provide food, clothing, shelter. They have to protect against the exploitation of the contract workers and to give them what is rightfully belongs to them. and as we have already discussed, a certain amenities has to be provided for these people, whether it is a canteen or restroom, and provide them with drinking water, latrine, washing facilities, etc. has to be done to them. Okay, let's see on the contract labor under the EPF Act and ESI Act. What do they deserve? The contract laborers are eligible for Provident Fund under EPF, Amending Act of 1963. If the establishment where the laborer has been employed is covered under ESI Act, employee engaged by the contractor have to enroll as member of employee, the state insurance. We have other labor laws which are entitled to benefit under the following, like the Factory Act of 1948, Payment of Wage Act of 1936, Minimum Wage Act of 1948, Workmen Compensation Act of 1923, and Industrial Dispute Act of 1947. Meanwhile, we have to see what are the protection for the women workforce. As stated earlier, the women workforce working as a contract labor are covered under Equal Remuneration Act. They are entitled to benefit under Maternity Benefit Act, where they are entitled to take leave and still receive the remuneration as decided by the Labour Commission specified to the state amendment, and also in the area of their employment, which is generally 50% of their regular wage. Next, we see the rights of the contract laborers. What are the rights? The obligations of the contractors and the principal employers are particularly the right of the contract laborer. Parity of pay for the same or similar work with the pay of the directly employed laborer workforce. Contract labour have also the right to be represented on the state and central advisory boards. So these are the provisions, rights, obligation which are provided by the law to safeguard the interest of the workers. So during these recent years, we have seen that contract labour has become a continuous issue, and it is a key reason for increasing labour unrest. Strikes, protests are becoming a common and a global phenomena. Meanwhile, we also see violence and killing. It is not justified under the circumstance, and it is purely a case of law and order situation. There is surge in violence disturbing the industrial relation, which is becoming a concern issue for all. Thank you, one and all.